It's a chilly morning. It's chilly this morning.
Ain't cold as it was yesterday morning.
No, not as cold as yesterday morning. We were in the 30s. Today it's in the, what, 45, 48, something like that?
Yeah, it's upper 40s.
Upper 40s. Still feels pretty chilly.
I like it.
Matt loves it. I like it too. I like it better if I'm sitting by the wood stove though. We've not had our first fire yet.
Let's put all this stuff up and go sit down.
Well, we got a lot of work to do. So Matt's going to get started on the next part of the steps today, and he don't know exactly. He's just doing it as he goes. He's got a mind like that. I don't. I have to have like a recipe or instructions and go back and look at every step. Matt can just, what do you call that? Adapt as he goes. So he's going to be working on that.
It's called building on the fly.
Building on the fly, yeah. I've got to go take Greenie to the doctor, so I'll be gone for a little while. Matt's going to be doing that. And then I don't know if there's anything else out here that we'll do today other than mainly work on the steps.
Yep.
Before I go pick Greenie up for her appointment, I decided I would take her some flowers, so I'm going to make a bouquet for her. Our zinnias, my zinnias this year, they're about, because cold weather's here, they're on their way out, but there's still some that's pretty, so I'm going to get some of them, maybe some. I've got some of those huge marigolds that I didn't realize was going to be huge that's still growing here and there, so I might find some of them to put in it too, put in the bouquet too. That's a pretty one with all the ruffles. Still got some buds there, so look at that one. Isn't that pretty? Zinnias are pretty at whatever stage they're growing. Look at that one. Even when they first start out, I think they're really pretty. Okay, this is one of the marigolds I was talking about. Let's see how far I can get down to it. Put it in there with those. Look how pretty this one is. Beautiful. It's gonna be pretty. It's a bright one here. Beautiful. Here's a really, really vibrant one. Beautiful color. There's a few cosmos still blooming too. I don't know about this one, but I'll take it in, and if I don't put it with this bouquet, ooh, it's gonna be pretty though. I was gonna say I could make one for myself. This is just another stage of the zinnia blooming, but isn't that even beautiful? I think every stage of zinnias are so pretty. A lot of people in my area call zinnias old maids. I don't know why, but that's what I've always heard them called, old maids. This is some ageratum's what it's called, and Granny actually gave me a start of this ages ago when I first moved in up here, so maybe I'll add a sprig or two of it to her bouquet. There's a really pretty zinnia growing out here in the weeds. That was the color I didn't have up front, really pretty red. I was wondering about putting some sage in it. There's sage growing in my herb bed. I might take in a sprig of it if I don't end up putting it in the flowers. Ooh, it is pretty though. I could always dry it and use it. I cut an extra little sprig. Makes me want to eat it. It smells so good. There's some pretty goldenrod growing too. Maybe I'll take in a sprig or two of it and see what that looks like. Looks pretty all together, doesn't it? I think it turned out beautiful. Got the sage back there, the ageratum, and the goldenrod, and then of course all the zinnias and a few cosmos and marigolds. I put it in this little, you can see this little container. That was Granny's mother's, that was Gazzy's, so maybe that will please her too. I'm sure she'll give it back to me. I won't lose it, but for now she can enjoy the beautiful bouquet sitting in her house. Matt's finished for today. I think they look great. He's got a few little adjustments he wants to do, but they're there. That was the hard part, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a hard part, and I'm glad that part's done. I was dreading it.
Lots of digging and...
Lots of rocks.
Yeah, and what are those? 6x6s?
Yeah, they're 6x6s.
So those
pressure
are,
treated 6x6s.
Those are heavy, so you've basically used them and a lot of screws.
Yeah, big old long screws.
Big old long screws and brute force to dig.
Yeah.
I've already tested them out and they work really good. It'll be so much easier than scurrying up and down the rocky part with rocks rolling around under your feet.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, so it'll be so much easier.
I'm going to do some more digging up top and
Yeah.
mulch and just try to even it out a little bit better and make the path a little more clear, and that way it'll be, most of these beds will be easy to access at that point,
Yeah.
other than the lower ones, and I'm going to do something else for those. So.
Yeah, we'll figure those out. But this will be major right here because
Yeah.
you can reach 4 beds from this part. And even if you didn't do anything else, it's better than what we had, but you're going to do some more improvements to it.
Yeah.
But I love them. I think they're fantastic.
Well, good. That's what counts, as long as you like them. They're a little rough, but they'll work.
Oh, they're fine. They're fine. And we can plant some stuff around them. Well, we don't even have to plant stuff. Stuff will come back. On the left side over there, we have a nice blackberry patch. That's just wild ones that spring up there, so they'll come back. And on this other side, some of the irises and things I planted this year are doing pretty good. So I see some right up there at the top, actually, some irises.
Yeah.
So, great job.
Thank you.
Putting your purple on my peach.
You got your chocolate on my peanut butter.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like you had the hardest day today for sure. You was doing all that work.
It's pretty hard work. I can feel it. I'll sleep good.
Yeah, you
Maybe.
sleep good and sound. Well, I was taking Granny to her appointment, so Granny's treatments have started this week, so we're hopeful that they will help. And we're appreciative of all the prayers and the cards and all the good wishes. Thank you so much. All the information you've shared. Thank you for everything. Thank you for everything. We know it's those treatments are usually really tough on people, so we're worried about that. But I guess Granny's, I wrote on the Blind Pig and the Acorn recently that she was between the proverbial rock and a hard place. She just don't have much choice at her age and where the tumor is at, where the mass is at, and the issues that it's causing. It's just a bad situation, but we've started this, and we hope that we'll see good results, and of course praying that God lets us see good results. So while I was gallivanting with Granny, not really gallivanting, but going through the process of all that, Matt was here working on the beautiful steps.
I don't know if they're beautiful, but they're steps.
He don't think they're beautiful, but I do, because they're functional. I'm all about function. I'm one of those people that's all about function.
They are functional, and they are stout, and they'll be there from now on until they rot down. But
right.
They just a little rough, but they'll be all right.
I think they're great. How many years ago, 20 years ago, something, you built me some on this side of the house. You've probably seen them in our videos, and they're still there, still doing great. All those years ago.
Yeah, gosh, that was
probably 20 years ago.
It's probably over 20 years ago.
All right, at least.
Long time ago, and we use them every day.
Yeah. You see those jokes about, like at Christmas, especially Christmas is coming up, but not to get your wife like a vacuum cleaner or a toaster oven or something like that, but I'm directly the opposite of that. I like functional things. I like things that are useful. So I'd be happy with those things. Matt knows that already.
File that away in my little head.
You know that about me. My whole family does.
Yeah, I like stuff you can use. I don't want something that's pretty and you got to put it up.
But as far as, I think those look great. I think they're nice. I think they match the rest of our, what do you call it, style here, rustic style. But again, just the functionality is what matters most to me. There ain't nothing wrong though with people that want it to look real modern or look a certain way. That's just personal preference, and we all have those. But for me, I always just worry about if it's functional, if it works, and that's the rest. It don't really matter to me as much what it looks like.
Yep.
I like to make cakes and desserts and things, but I never worry about the finished product as much as what it tastes like. I mean, I want it to look nice. I don't want it to look terrible, but even if it falls, if the cake falls, or if it cracks, or if my frosting looks kind of mixed up or not smooth, as long as Matt and Corey and Katie and Austin and me think it tastes good, I don't care about the looks.
I don't usually slow down long enough to see what it looks like when I'm eating it. I just eat it.
You just eat it.
Yep.
We've continued to have cooler weather, and it's been really nice. You see probably a few leaves falling around us. The leaves are really starting to change. Really pretty. This is not their peak, but they're getting prettier by the day.
It'll be long, it'll be all gone except for the oaks that hang on till the new ones sprout them off.
Yeah. Matt's happy about the cooler weather.
Gosh, yeah.
He's happy. He's mowed our grass, he knows, for the last time this year.
Whether it needs it or not.
Yeah, well, he probably won't. So he's happy about that. We've had one frost already, so probably won't have no more growth in the grass.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have to mow it again.
Yeah, so he's really happy about that. And I don't think that we shared in a video, but we should have, is that he didn't have to go to jury duty, which was great. He was very happy about that. The first time they called and said, call back, we don't need you now, but call back at this date. And then before you could call back, they sent you a message that you were no longer needed. Right. You were set free, basically. So.
Oh gosh, yeah, I was glad of that too, because it was 8 weeks. The first message I got was the first term of it, which was 4 weeks. I was not going to be needed. Had to call back in a month, which was September 29th. And before that happened, they messaged me or sent me I think it was an email.
Yeah.
And said that it was not needed for the next session either, and that my service was no longer needed. And I said, thank you very much.
Yeah. Matt was glad about that.
Now I'm study on hunting season and not have to worry about that.
Although today, Papa Tony told Matt he got called to just regular jury. So he's like,
did.
oh no. Yeah. Maybe he'll get lucky like you did.
I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, neither one of them wouldn't care to go. Matt's went, he served before to do your civic duty. We all should, but just not during deer season.
Well, it must be must be alphabetical, and then our last name. Every time I've been called is right at the beginning of the hunting season.
I don't know how they call it.
I don't know if that's how they do it, but every time I've ever been called, that's the way it's been. And I need to get that rearranged somehow or another. If I'm gonna have to do it, I'd rather do it in the summer or dead of winter or whatever.
Yeah. Speaking of deer, though, Matt got his first deer with a bow, so it's exciting news for us.
Yep.
Yeah, for Matt especially.
Yeah, I like to do it with a bow. It's tough. For me it is anyway, but I enjoy it. It's hard to do, and that makes it a little bit more rewarding when you do get it with a bow, and it's be some good meat.
What kind of people probably ask, what kind of bow do you use?
Mine's a compound, a bear status, I believe it's called. It's 2 or 3 years old. I think they made it 1 year or 2 maybe, and then all the bow manufacturers, they don't hang on to nothing long. They got to make something near better, faster, and cost more. But what I do is, and they're really expensive, but what I do is once they change a model and they go to something else, I will look for that last year's model or 2 years ago model on eBay, and a lot of times you can find them brand new that never sold for half price or less, and it's it's as good as it was when it was made, and it was never sold, so it's never been used, and it's half price thing, and that's how I generally buy them, and that's how I bought this one, and it's fantastic, and I'm just going to keep hunting with it until it gets old, and then I'll do that same thing again.
It wears out. You've been hunting with a bow since you were young.
Yeah, I mean, there was a period of years there that I didn't, just because
You didn't have much time.
didn't have time working and didn't have much time off and youngins and all that, But I've always enjoyed it and did it a lot when I was younger. And now I'm doing it more. Now that I've got the time, I'm doing it more now, and I really enjoy it. I actually like that better than I do hunting with a gun. Just because it's it's harder to do, and it's a little more rewarding when you do get some, but I do like having enough meat, and I generally can't get enough with a bow. But
a lot of people,
so I do both.
I mean, some people do just hunt with a bow.
Yeah, so a lot of people do it, and that's all they hunt with, and I'd like to do that if I could get over the fear of not getting enough meat.
Right. Yeah, we eat all the meat Matt gets, so it's an important part of our diet and our lifestyle and everything.
So I'm hunting with a bow now just because it's bow season,
right,
and that's all it is. So,
yeah.
And we have a long bow season here, so I try to hunt it as much as I can here close to home, and I enjoy it.
Austin's been a few times, and he got
He killed one.
He got a doe last weekend or weekend before last, maybe. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it's weekend before last.
So he's got his first too.
I always like to get them a little early like this, and that way, I mean, of course you got the meat, but you've already got one under your belt, and it just seems the rest of the season's a little bit more enjoyable when you've already got some.
Austin hunts mostly in Georgia, and I don't know the name of the place where, but Matt hunts a lot in Georgia too with Papa Tony, but Austin's hunting with his daddy. So I love that generational connection for families. There's lots of families like that here, whether they hunt here or if they go to Kentucky or Georgia or somewhere else to hunt.
Right.
I like that, but that's where Austin hunts, somewhere in Georgia. And Matt hunts near, what county is it?
Wilkes County.
Wilkes County.
It's actually in Wilkes County, and we hunt a little bit in Lincoln County also, which is the next county over. And been hunting down there for 40-something years.
Long time.
Long time.
You're getting old.
I know.
Here's some leaves falling.
But I can't imagine not doing it. I mean, I just can't.
You just really like it.
Yeah, I do. It's a tradition that's pretty strong. Can't get rid of it.
This cooler weather this time of the year, of course, you start thinking about or I do, about the holidays, about Thanksgiving and Christmas. But I also think about, just not because I've ever had any experience with it, because I've not, but because of riding for so long with on the Blind Pig and the Acorn. This is the time of the year when people, and especially in the old days, not so much today, but they start thinking about it's hog killing time to butcher your hogs. I never got to take part in that, never seen it. My Papa Wade did have pigs once or twice. I don't really remember them butchering them. Maybe they did. I know he did in the past. Pap had told me when he was a boy, Papa was one of the men like that was just kind of known for doing that, and they would get him, people would get him to come to their house and help with butchering day, and then of course they would pay him by sending him home some of the meat, you know, when he left with some of the meat. So he may have killed them, I can't remember, slaughtered them, but the only thing I remember is one time they got out and they chased me and my cousin down the road, and we were screaming and hollering. They probably wasn't really chasing us as much as they thought we had food, you know.
Were they just running away?
Yeah, they were just, but we were just like, screaming, and everybody laughed at us and made fun of us. But Matt's family did always slaughter hogs, so he's been around it more than I have.
My grandpa and Daddy, they raised hogs and killed hogs every year.
Yeah.
I wish we had somewhere to keep some. We'd be doing it.
Yeah. There's such, when you hear people talk about it, lots of people have great memories because it took on like almost like a celebration, because you needed many hands to help do all that work and put up all that meat. And of course, you got that meat, you get people together, you're gonna eat, you know, you're gonna eat good, maybe some of the fresh tenderloin or something. So I often hear older people talk about it, and then also just reading like accounts where people really look back on it, fond memories, even the ones that say they didn't want to be there when the actual, you know, taking the hog out happened. They went and hid until that was over, and then they come back, maybe they were young or whatever. So lots of fond memories and thinking about the good eating. When I met Matt's family years ago, of course, we've been married a long time, they would talk about it and tell funny stories and different things that had happened and stuff like that. But they always talked about sausage, how you know, part of it they would use to make sausage, and how they canned the sausage. And I was so fascinated by the way they canned it, because they described just frying the meat, putting it in the jar, and then pouring lard, the lard over it, and that's it, sealing it, and that's it. And I thought, how could you do that? You'd die, you know, you'd get some kind of poison or something, botulism or something. Anyway, as years went on, and I kept hearing them talk about it, and then I heard other people talk about it. And so eventually me and Matt tried it. We didn't have the hog to slaughter, but I think you and Papa made the sausage. Just bought pork. And
yeah, we bought several Boston butts and ground them, and ground the fat and everything up with them, and made up I don't remember if we bought the seasoning or made it. I can't remember. But anyway, we cooked it and we canned it here at home. Didn't we? Or we canned it out in his house?
No, I think we canned it here.
And it was...
Or maybe we did both. I don't remember that part, but I know we did some of it here.
It was out of this world.
Oh, it was so good, yeah.
Some of the best, it was the best I've had.
When we first ate the first jar or two, I thought, well, are we going to we're going to be alive by tonight, you know. But of course we were. Anyway, that's one of those old ways of doing stuff. And of course today, canon people say do not do that. You can't do that.
Yeah.
But I'll link to below. I'll link to the one time where I wrote about it on the Blind Pig, because then of course you can read not just what I wrote, but then people that commented, you know, and told their experiences if they had one with doing it like that, or if they thought you shouldn't do it, you know, whatever they said. So I think a lot of people looked forward to that.
Oh yeah, they did.
And pork was the main meat of the people of Appalachia in days gone by. For many different reasons. Mostly it was, if you're living on the side of the mountain, there's not much pasture land for thinking of beef and things like that. So pigs are easier to raise in the woods, and then their meat, they could, whether they canned it like the sausage or salted, they mostly salted it and smoked it. So then they had meat all winter, you know, made it to the next time, or at least till there was fresh stuff from the garden and all that. So of course things are not like that today. You can just go to the grocery store and get whatever kind of meat you want. One time Matt's got some funny stories about his family doing it, though. About him is that he got attached to them one time, got attached to the hogs.
Yeah, we had a couple of hogs when I was little, and I'd go down there every day and feed them and
scratch them.
Yeah, scratch their back. We had a hog pen that had slats on the side of it, and you could stick your hands in there and pet them. And well, it got time to kill them, and somebody Daddy knew, is kind of what you were talking about your Papa Wade going and doing it for people. They got somebody to come, and when it got time to shoot them, I pitched fit. And I got mad and cried, and
they sent you home.
Well, it was in the yard at home. We was at home, and I ended up, I don't know, I can remember looking out the kitchen door just before it happened and just all upset, and then I don't really remember after that, but I do remember that vividly. And that was, my gosh, that'd been 49, 50 years ago, I guess.
But you ended up getting rocks, didn't you, and throwing rocks at them?
Yeah, I think I threw rocks at the guy that came to help.
He snuck out and got rocks and started throwing them.
Yeah, I think
I
that's how that tale
Daddy
went.
or your mama told me. You threw the rocks at them, trying to run them off.
Yeah, I don't guess it worked.
No, I'm sure you got something in return for that.
Yeah. And that's the last, I reckon that was the last pigs we had, or that Daddy had. That was a long time ago.
There's another funny story about your dad that your daddy told about one of them in his family. Somebody got burned.
Yeah, it was, Daddy got cut.
One of them got burned first, though.
No, Daddy got cut first.
Okay.
Or no, let's see, maybe it was. I don't remember anyway. But
one brother got burned.
Yeah, stepped in the scalding barrel and went up to his knee.
And so they had to take
him to the hospital. That's right. And then a little while after that.
And that's not funny. We don't think that's funny. I didn't mean that, but it's just the life of a parent. That's the funny part.
And then they continued skinning on the hog, and I think my papa and Daddy and my daddy were both skinning on the hog, and my papa ended up running a knife across Daddy's finger and cut it pretty bad. And they wanted to take him to the hospital, and he said no. He said he wasn't going to the hospital on the same hog as Sam did. He said, I just ain't doing that. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
So he just wrapped it up and kept going.
That's funny. Reminds me of one time my brother Steve was at this car wash not far from here, washing his car, and had his kids with him, of course, and one of his boys somehow found a string or something and tied it, like wrapped it around his fingers, and then he said he couldn't get it off, and they were turning, was already turning blue, whatever, when by the time he showed his daddy, he said, Daddy, I can't help me, I can't get this off. Well, Steve didn't have nothing to get it off with, so he had to take Mark. There was a gas station nearby, and he was embarrassed, but he had to go in that gas station and say, look what my son's done, can you help me cut these off? So they did, and then they got back to the car wash, and Steve's like, okay, you know, got to finish this. And then Mark was like, Daddy, what about these? He had them on his other hand. So Steve had to take him back. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Kids. There's some wind.
Yep. This acorn's falling.
Yeah, you can hear the acorns falling.
Golly.
Yeah. You say it again.
Acorns?
Acorns, and I say acorns.
You do?
I do. I say acorns. Acorns.
Well, you need to fix that.
A lot of people have told me, like when I'm talking about the Appalachian language, they want to know if I say it like Matt does, like acorn. But I say acorn. Acorn.
And if you're from the South, you say acorns.
Oh, I say acorn.
It's like I say, you need to remedy that.
Yeah. Just the way I say it.
Okay.
You just have to live with it.
I don't really know if I can. But I'll try.
After all these years.
Yeah.
But they are falling. They're everywhere. If you go out in our garden, like where we had our green beans and our squash and stuff, our winter squash, there's oak trees all along through there. So it's just like walking on marbles.
And I heard somebody the other day say there wasn't many acorns this year, and right here around our house,
plenty.
It's a bumper crop of
bumper crop.
Right up on the ridge here above the house is full of acorns. And I ain't been way back in yonder, so I don't know about up high, but right here close by, we're going to have to put a helmet on.
That one about hit you in the head, didn't it?
There's plenty of them right here.
Yeah, plenty of them. We'll have little saplings growing everywhere.
Yeah, in the garden.
I'd love to harvest the acorns sometime and make flour out of them. It's a whole process. It's not easy to do. No. Maybe someday. I'd like to. I'd like to at least do it once and learn how and see if I liked it.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a sweet flour. If you do, you have to, this whole leaching process you got to go through, but yeah. Once you get started on that in your spare time.
Okay.
Matt's been so busy. He's been busier now that he left his full-time job than he did when he worked, I think.
Been pretty busy.
But it's been things you enjoyed.
Yeah.
You've enjoyed it. A few people have asked us that. How does Matt like it? I think you're happy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not to have to get up and go and do what somebody else tells you to do all day.
Well, yeah. That's...
And doing things, you know, like the steps or whatever that's for your family and for you.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's hard work, and it's always something like that going on, or wood splitting or whatever, but it's, like I say, it's for us and not for somebody else, and I can go at it on my own time and do it how I want to do it, and not interrupted in any other way, so yeah, that's much better.
He's done some work for Granny, and of course we're still going through Miss Cindy's house. We try to make a stab at that every week. We're making progress.
Yeah.
So we can be done with that. And so you've been busy, but I think you've enjoyed it. It's been very, very nice to have Matt here. I've loved it, every minute of it. It's good.
Well, that's nice to know. That's the first I've heard of that.
Oh, it's been nice. And on the days that Corey's here, when she helps me, it's nice because, you know, we're all here together. Even nicer on the weekends when or the evenings when Austin comes too and they're here, they eat with us a lot. I love that. I love for them to come and eat with us, and so that's even nicer when we're all together.
Yep.
But it's been very, very nice, and we're very grateful and blessed that Matt's able to do that.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Should have done this all along if we'd have knowed you could.
Yeah, if we'd been smart back then, back in our old days.
Yeah, well, I can guarantee you one thing. Back then, I was not smart.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
We didn't think about the future and didn't think about saving and doing all the things you should do. We just didn't think about it.
No.
Seems like it's so far off, and then of course it's not. It's here before you know it.
Yeah, it gets here quick.
Yeah, somebody, see, who was that the other day, tell me they couldn't believe, I can't remember who it was, how big their kids were, and they were like about, I don't know, 5 or 6 or something, and oh, I remember who it was too now. It was my cousin talking about his little boy, and he's probably, might be 7 or 8, but I was like, wait till I pointed to, I think it was Katie with me. I was like, wait till they're this. You know, I can't believe it either. And it went by just in a flash. Just in a flash. So, goes by fast.
It does.
That's why you got to enjoy all of it. It is a wonderful thing, though, that we get to do every day, be with each other and the family and all that, and so many different things. But as far as caring about our culture and celebrating Appalachia, that we get to do that. We've been doing it since 2008. You know, everybody helped me with the blog, Corey and Katie and Matt, and I think I've told before, Miss Cindy and Granny and Pap and Paul and lots of other people too, but they were all part of it. But now to get to do that full time, it's just, I just still wake up every day and think, is this a dream? It's a dream come true. And we're so grateful and thankful.
Yep.
And a lot of you had a big part in that, so we thank you.
Absolutely.
And I guess Matt's ready to go in and get him something to eat after all his exertion.
Yeah, I am tired.
He's tired out, is what we'd say. Tired out. Plumb wore out.
Absolutely.
We always appreciate it when you stop by to help us celebrate Appalachia. We've not been doing thumbnails. We need to do a thumbnail, which we should go back over there to the steps and do it over there.
Whatever, woman.
It's pretty up there.
It is.
Changing.
It was real pretty up there yesterday.
I bet. Pretty sitting in your tree.
Yeah, I enjoy that. Especially in it was cold. It was in the upper 30s yesterday morning, and getting to sit there and take that cold air in along with the colors and the acorns and everything, it's just
made it nice.
Made it nice, yeah.
The leaves falling all the time.
Yeah, won't be long. They'll really be coming down.
Yeah. Those down there, which they're gone. I forgot. Granny cut them. Those are right there in front of her house. Gosh, that red maple.
She cut it?
I guess.
Well, I think
That
it's
was
pretty.
the prettiest tree, but usually it's just like just raining. Gosh, I hadn't even thought about that till right now. They're gone. All them trees are gone. Well, you see them out here like that too sometimes, especially down here.
Yeah.
I think we've cleaned out all the garden beds except that one. And I don't know what we're waiting on.
Spinach.
Spinach.
Spinach has grown all the way
It's
out.
grown all the way to here, though,
Yeah.
about it.
I mean, I guess that's why.
Yeah, look at the nasturtiums, ain't they pretty? They've loved this cold weather. They've had like a new growth. Everything else is dying back. I really like the steps.
I'm
Maybe we
glad you
could
like 'em.
plant blueberry bushes on each side of them.
Oh, yeah. You can plant anything you want to on
That
around
might be a good place for blueberries. I had that, my fig out here, but it didn't survive that cold weather.
Yeah.
It died. I think they're finicky anyway.
That little tree I planted right yonder, I don't believe it's going to do nothing, is it? It's been there, what's it been there, 2 years, and it ain't a bit bigger than it was when we planted it.
That was one Granny started with. From
And you had an apple
seeds.
tree?
Yeah, from seeds from Tim's apples. Probably ain't gonna do nothing.
It's still alive, though. Looks like it'd grow a little.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe next year will be the year. We better go in.
Yeah, we got to get busy.
Peaceful. I'll be asleep in 5 minutes if I sit here longer.
All right.